I want to go over some of the words to that hymn that we sang. May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry upon these windows. May the rain and the roar go by faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. By faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. That means to me committing to our seven principles, our faith made strong. I want to go over the Unitarian Universalist 7 principles. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every human being that walks the planet. We affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion in all human relations. We affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. We affirm and promote a free and responsible search for our own truth and meaning. We affirm and promote the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregation and our society at large. We affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace and liberty and justice for every human being. And finally, we affirm and promote, we respect the interdependent web of all existence of which we are just one part. By faith made strong, our faith, our 7 principles made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. That is, if we stick to our principles, the rafters will withstand the battering of any storm. If we stand together for what we believe, the rafters will also stand. Going forward in the song, this hearth, though all the world grow chill, will keep you warm. This hearth right here, this fellowship, these people, this hearth will keep you warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a shrine. With laughter drown out the raucous shout. And though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong enough to keep hate out and to keep love in. What that's saying is this is a safe place for you. This is a haven for you, a place where you can bring your brain to church with you. You can question things. You can doubt. You can argue and discuss here. This is a place that offers a community to you to keep hate out and to keep love in. The song, sometimes sung like a dirge, is actually a joyous song. It's saying, come on in and join the party. Come and be part of our family here. You are in. Come and dance with us. Come and sing with us. Come and laugh with us to keep the battering storm out. Just like the other hymn we sang this morning. Enter, rejoice, and come in. For today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in with us. Because I have to tell you, the rest of the world is not exactly like this world. Have you noticed? The rest of the world doesn't just offer the good stuff, which is keeping hate out and holding love in. The rest of the world has all of it in it. The good, the bad, the ugly, the messy, the evil, the pain, the suffering, the loss. It's not that we don't have that here too. We do. We all carry a piece of that. But here we say, let no evil cross this door. We say no to the evil that wants to come in. We say here, let's have a respite from that. Let's have a boundary that says, evil, you are not welcome here. Racism, you are not welcome here. Sexism, you are not welcome here. Homophobia, you are not welcome here. This is where we play. This is where we love. This is where we recharge. Ann Landers tells this Unitarian Universalist story. She says, a man spoke to the Lord about heaven and hell. The Lord said to the man, come here, I will show you hell. They entered a room where a group of people sat around a large pot of stew. Everyone was famished. They were desperate. They were starving to death. Each person held a 4-foot-long spoon that could reach the pot, but they couldn't get the spoon into their mouth or any of their food because it was too long. They were suffering terribly. Now, said the Lord, I will show you heaven. They walked down the hall to another room, identical to the first one. The pot of stew, the group of people, the same 4-foot-long handled spoons. But there, everyone was happy and well-nourished. I don't understand, said the man. Why are they happy here when they're so miserable in the other room with the exact same thing? The Lord smiled and said, oh, it's simple, because here they have learned to feed each other. Yes, here we feed each other. Here is your sacred space where you can come and be fed and be comforted. Because we have to recharge sometimes. We have to step out of the craziness of the big old world sometimes. Because if we don't, we're going to be in constant turmoil and trauma. Think about it. Think about the top headlines this week. Roseanne Barr's TV show was canceled after she sent a highly racist tweet out to the world. I was thinking, what were you thinking? Then another headline, the U.S. immigration system has lost track of 1,475 children that were taken from their parents while they were trying to immigrate to our country. And the CPS system has lost track of them. I'm like, what? How is that even possible? Then our president is still fighting in court the hush money that he paid to an adult porn star to remain quiet. How embarrassing is that? This is our news. What about school shootings? They're on the rise. We've been into this 2018 for 22 weeks, and we've had 23 school shootings where at least one person was injured or killed. That's more than one shooting a week. Isn't that crazy? Has the world gone insane? Or is there a purpose to it all? I wonder about that. Is there a purpose to the craziness, to the evil? Why is this happening in our world anyway? What is evil anyway? Is it a devil? Is it personified? Is it hell on earth? Well, you may find this hard to believe, but Unitarian Universalists have a hard time agreeing on the definition of evil. Mostly, it's because we're optimists. We shine our light out to how we want the world to be. We are actually living the change that we want to see in the world, bending the arc toward justice and peace for all, which is great. But I did find a couple of definitions that I thought, okay, those are good ones. I can relate. One was from Merriam-Webster, who defines evil as causing harm to others, morally reprehensible, arising from actual or imputed bad character. I like the definition. Causing harm is evil. But I also like the definition that UU Minister Kimberly DeBoss assessment of evil. She says, the Christian thinker Augustine defined evil not as a thing in and of itself, but as a parasite of good, something that is lacking, not a thing of itself, For instance, if you have a hole in your jacket, the hole is not something, but rather is something that's lacking. Similarly, Augustine considered evil something that is missing. And I think that missing piece is empathy. The evil requires good to exist, however, because it is a parasite. It helps us define who we are. It helps us define our moral standards, our right and wrong. Because unless there's a moral standard, we don't really have anything to measure it against. What is good, what is evil? It's only in comparison to what bad feels like that we know what good feels like. And what good feels like because we know what bad feels like. That is, evil does serve a purpose in our world. It's valuable to help us self-define who we are, what our principles are, what we stand for. Dubus goes on to say, I have noticed few enduring lessons in life come through pleasure. All of mine have come through pain. How about you? I concur. The biggest lessons for myself have been painful, hard ones. Have you noticed that? That your major spiritual awakenings, your major shifts in your life have come from suffering, pain, things that you didn't want to happen in your life, they happened. And yet how necessary it is for us also to have a soft space in which to fall. And I think that's our responsibility, to keep that balance between let no evil cross this door and letting our heart be broken open enough to feel another person's pain, to have empathy and to realize the world really does need healing. So we have to let enough in and not too much in. We have to let enough in to grow our own consciousness and our own compassion, but let no evil pass the door when we need to recharge. We have to have a boundary that says, I will let some of the pain in, but I will not let all of the pain in. We're allowed to say, no, enough, no more. I need a respite. In other words, it's good for you to learn how to say no to things. It's good for you to learn how to say, I'm not responsible for everything that's going wrong in the world. I am not actually going to heal the world today. I'm going to let this congregation and my community be a healing force for me when I need it. I'm going to receive. I'm going to give myself permission to receive that love, to keep that evil out and hold that love in for you. Because then we get recharged. And then we can go out and fight the battle some more, fight the fight, but not be overwhelmed by it. We are responsible for limiting the trauma that comes into us. I do believe the media would like all of the trauma to come into us from all of the world. And our brains are not equipped for that. We are not designed to take in all the trauma of all the world. I had a client who came in yesterday who was very distressed about how animals are treated. And she was really sobbing and in a lot of emotional pain. And I said, wow. And she said, yes, I've been watching videos of people drowning live animals. I said, don't do that. Stop that. Don't expose yourself to something that causes you trauma. We are responsible for saying, no, I'm not going to let that evil in. I know when I go to a movie and there's any violence, I just close my eyes. I do not want those images in my brain or to control my level of trauma at all. And we are the people that can say, no, that's too much. We are the ones that have to have boundaries. And to say that whatever part I do in the world to heal the world is enough. I'm thinking of the words of Albert Einstein. He was asked what he was going to do in his retirement in order to continue to contribute to the world. He said very simply, "I've done my part," as he rode off on his bicycle. I'm inspired by him. We have to take a taste of that and know that who we are and what we contribute is enough. None among us is responsible for healing all the trauma in the world. Give yourself a break. Stop being so hard on yourself. Let yourself soak in some of the respite. Now, you may remember the story I told of the itty-bitty kitty that came to our house last September. We actually picked him up on a very busy road, a 5-lane road, and he was about 3 weeks old. It was right after Hurricane Harvey. He weighed about 12 ounces. He was already bitten up by lots of fleas. And we had him for 7 months. We had him neutered. We loved him. We cared for him. We took him to the vet. We did all the shots. We named him George. But we travel a lot. And even when we're in Houston, we're gone 12 and 14 hours a day. And my husband finally convinced me he's not having a quality life. He would have a quality life somewhere else. And so we found a family for him where both the husband and wife are retired. The grandchildren come over every day, and they just love that George. We did our part. We rescued him from sudden death, I'm sure, and we took him in, and then our part is to say, it's enough. We can let him go now to his next adventure. We don't have to guilt ourselves and keep him for 15 or 20 years where he doesn't have a good quality of life. We're able to say, it's enough. I'm suggesting to you that you do the same thing, that you get out of that all or nothing thinking, that if I don't do this much, it doesn't matter, because that's not true. If you do this much, it matters. You matter. Your contribution matters. Respite is allowed. It's encouraged. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you don't stay balanced. You don't stay mentally able to go back into the world and dwell in that valley of darkness. Because we also have to keep our hearts broken open so we can recognize the sad man, the bad man that's hiding behind the blue eyes. That we can be there for the Grovers who have a bad day, who are made fun of, and we can feel their pain and offer our love to them. This is a poem by Mark Nepo I want to share with you, who addresses this very thing. But how do we hold such contradictions? Somewhere seeds are breaking ground, and somewhere flesh is burning. This is hard enough to take in. Yet how does this happen in the same person without their soul exploding? There's the rub. Brian Chenoweth is also a UU minister in Lexington, Kentucky. He responds, whether or not we have wronged the world, justified wanton destruction, or called virtue that which deprives others of dignity, we must truly ask this question every day. How do we hold the contradictions of the world without our hearts tearing so irreparably that we lose sight of who we are, that we become unstable and unable to live our principles? Well, I think the answer is boundaries. Stopping the evil at the door when you need a respite. Telling yourself the truth about that. No, I need a hug today. No, I need some time and space. I need some love. And giving yourself permission to have that. And yet still opening the door enough to the unknown, to the great mystery of life, to the struggle that we all experience in the bigger world, and have compassion for others. I believe we have to have both. We have to have balance. And it's our responsibility to create that balance by being part of a community and also drawing from the community as you need to. Give yourself permission to be part of, to have a safe place to fall. And give yourself permission to let your heart be broken open. I want to end with a quote from Elizabeth Lesser from her wonderful book called Broken Open. If you haven't read it, I really recommend it. This is what she says. Something I didn't want to happen happens. I feel the resistance build inside of me. I feel the pressure to control what is obviously out of my control. I become aware of what I'm doing, either to break down or break open. So I take a deep breath. I recharge, uncoil my body, and stretch out in the river of change. Once again, I accept that life is uncertain, that the goal is not to become more certain about anything, but to relax into the mystery of life and not knowing what comes next. And then, miracle of miracles, out there in that deep, uncertain water, I come into a peace, a peaceful knowing, a balance, a faithful wisdom that surpasses control and certainty. It's the balance that we need. Stopping the evil at the door so love can be here and hate is not welcome, and at the same time, keeping our principles of our faith, our community, which will protect the rafters in the storm, and keeping our hearts broken open just enough that we can respond with empathy and love and actually live our principles in the rest of the world. This is my hope for you, that you do both and keep those in balance. Blessed be, and amen. Thank you. This week, come build a land by caring for yourself, first and foremost, and then giving yourself some grace to do whatever little bit you can to be a healing force in the world. I love each one of you, and I send love out to you. And I'm so glad you're here, part of this family. Blessed be.